Great. And Jane, you mentioned the book, A Teen Guide to Smart Choices. Tell us about the book and maybe what inspired it.
Yeah. So what inspired it? Struggling with teens inspired it, with my own teens. Mm-hmm. My kids were going to an alternative high school in Calgary, and I got together with a bunch of the moms, and this one mother in particular who had a psychology background. She and I got together and started giving workshops to the kids from the school. So that they wouldn't be out on Friday night partying. We'd give them an alternative. So we created these workshops, and then I wrote the book because kids don't really want to admit there's a problem, and they don't necessarily want to be dragged to a workshop. So I thought, I'm going to take the ideas from the workshop and make it into a book that's speaking to the teens in the simple language. It's an easy read, takes a couple hours to read it cover to cover, but it's more of a reference manual kind of to have at your bedside. And mm-hmm. It teaches you things like what to do when you're offered your first cigarette, it gives relationship advice, things, how to raise your self-esteem, just kind of topics like that come up for teens. And the idea is ideally that the parents would read this with their teens if it's the preteen age. The idea is parents read it with their teens, get them a plan, get them a roadmap to be successful when transitioning from grade school to high school. And then again, older teens, I consider teens about the age of 12 to mid-20s. So, people who are transitioning from high school to university, huge transition. You got to learn to deal with stress, and this book gives you techniques to do that.
Great, and as well, you guys offer training. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. What types of things do you actually train in, and do you train for any type of certification, or is it more for self-help?
Yeah, I do the Reiki training, so all levels up to master. Mm-hmm. Reiki is a relatively unregulated modality. Healing touch, which we offer training in, but we bring in the trainer. We have a trainer, Cindy Palajak, that we bring in from London. We're hoping Jill's fully certified in healing touch, but now she has to go on to the teaching courses. So I'm encouraging her to do that so we have a local teacher. But yeah, because I don't have enough to do in my life right now.
I bet. When we come back, healing touch for animals, and Jane and Jill's specialties within energy healing. Twin Connection on You Talking to Me. We'll be right back. If you have an interesting career or an interesting life experience that you'd like to share with others, you can contact me, Big JD, at the You Talking to Me website, youtalkingtome.ca. That's the letter U, talking, the number 2, me, youtalkingtome.ca. All right, we're back, and Jane and Jill are with me from Twin Connection Energy Healing. Jane, you're trained in healing touch. Tell us about that and how it works.
Actually, I'll let Jill do the healing touch for people, and I will do the healing touch for animals. How's that?
Okay, yeah, great.
Healing touch has its roots in nursing. It was founded by a registered nurse back in 1989, Janet Mentgen, and again, this modality again works with the chakras and keeping the chakras open and in working with intention to promote health and healing. And again, it's light touch or near body touch, just like Reiki. And I think what sets this modality apart from, say, Reiki is the multitude of techniques that you're taught. There's something for every issue that comes up, and that's why I was drawn to healing touch.
So talking about healing touch for animals now, I took the training when I was living in Calgary. The training is mostly in the States, but it's starting to come to Canada, and we're trying to get it here as well. once we find enough people interested in it. But animals are amazing to work with. The training focuses on two types of animals, small and large. So we use the dog for the small animal training, and we use horses for the large animal training. The difference between people's energy and animals' energy, for instance, a dog's energy is 4 times the size of the dog, whereas a person's energy is about 2 feet off the body. And a horse's energy, a horse will fill the energy of whatever it's contained in. So if it's in a big, huge arena, you'll feel a horse's energy throughout the whole entire arena, which is why I think so many people are drawn to horses, and why we hold them in such high esteem, and why we find them so magnificent.
A couple odd questions, I guess. One is, do you actually talk to animals?
I do what's called animal communication.
Mm-hmm.
Animals are telepathic. So, I mean, anyone can communicate with their animals. They get you. They read your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are techniques that use that telepathy to communicate with the animals. There's something called behavior modification, which I use a lot with dogs, especially dogs who are animal aggressive or people aggressive or not good on a leash. We do behavior modification for those types of behavior.
Jane, one of your specialties is we were talking about teens and their families. What types of concerns do you deal with teen clients? Do certain things come up more regularly than others?
Yeah, a lot of the teens that I see have stomach issues. They have troubles getting up in the morning to go to school, and as I struggled with this with one of my kids as well. And it's like, what do you do? Like, they're not faking it, but they need to learn skills to deal with stress and to get them out of bed in the morning and keep putting one foot in front of the other, and just finding out what are the underlying stresses and teaching them how to deal with those. As
well, people with acquired brain injuries, tell us about your work in that area and how certain techniques are helpful. Well,
working with people with brain injuries, I got into that because while I was living in Calgary, my cousin actually, who was a professional windsurfer, she was cycling downtown and was struck by a car, and she was in a coma for several weeks and wasn't expected to come out of it, and was never expected to come out of the vegetative state. But I worked with her 6 days a week, giving her sessions for 3 months while she was in the acute care hospital. And then she was moved to a rehabilitation hospital for the next year and a half. And I was there once a week giving her treatments and going to her therapies while I was there. So I learned a lot about the brain injuries that way. Mm-hmm. And, I'm happy to report she's learning to walk again. She speaks, eats. She's a maniac on the computer. She's just doing fabulous. Looking forward to independent living again, probably in the next short term here.
Yeah, that's great news. Jill, one of your specialties working with couples with pregnancy issues. What types of issues do you see within that, and are some more common?
I think a lot of the issues, at least that have come to me, have been stress. People are stressed out. They want to get pregnant. They can't. They're frustrated. They've tried everything, and it's a lot of times just a matter of relaxing them. I like to use a combination of PSYCH-K and healing touch for that. PSYCH-K I use to, first of all, for the woman to believe she can get pregnant and to sustain a pregnancy to term, and to ensure that there aren't any sabotaging beliefs. with them. What I found in one instance was it wasn't the mother or father that had the sabotaging belief, but one of the siblings who just wasn't ready to accept another sibling. They were the only child, and there was some real anxiety there about bringing in another, and the mom was feeling that anxiety, and so that was the sabotaging belief that had to be cleared. And once that was cleared, she got pregnant immediately. And the healing touch I love to use too on mainly the mom, just for relaxation and to reduce the stress and just to prepare the body to carry the pregnancy to term.
And you also specialize in pre and post surgery healing. What types of surgery are especially receptive? Does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter at all. This is so easy and so effective, and anyone can do it. It's just healing touch I use to prepare the body for surgery, to open all the chakras before they go into surgery, so that their body's just prepared to take on the surgery and to heal afterwards. And then after the surgery, I like to go in and just clear the body of the anesthesia, because that seems to be where everybody has the trouble. It's not so much the surgery itself, although, there's scars and different things, the wounds to heal from that, but it's the anesthesia. I had a client who would always come out of it, and her body would go into shock where she would shiver and be cold and just feel miserable, and had like incredible muscle spasms in her legs and couldn't relax. I had another one that had a metal taste always in her mouth after, like troubles remembering things. And I found with all of these people with all of these issues, I've been able to clear them 100% successfully with healing touch so far. There hasn't been one instance yet that I've had an issue.
And have you ever had to channel your energies together for a client?
We have a treatment called the Twin Connection.
Ooh.
So Jill and I basically share our energy before we start the healing. And we do it together. That's a session we usually do on special occasions. We'll do it, like for instance, when if we're doing like a relay for life or something like that, where we'll work together on a client, or if someone specially requests us. We have one later today, where a person has specifically called and asked for the two of us to do it together.
Well, that's something probably unique to your company, the Twin Connection.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other identical twins that are doing the work that I know of right now in Windsor.
Have you ever been asked to heal a baby?
Oh, yeah, lots of babies. I got into this to work on my babies. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And kids are just so open to the energy. And my kids, for example, just this morning, my son informed me that he had been hit by a car on his bike last night when he was riding over to a friend's. He didn't think to tell me till this morning, but he just said, Mom, my shoulder's kind of hurting. I wasn't hurt, but my shoulder's hurting, and there's a little bit of swelling there. But I really need to get the thought of me flying through the air and landing on the cement out of my head. So he already understands that it's not just the body that you're healing, but the mind and the spirit. So kids are amazing. And, Jane and I really want to get into teaching kids how to do this. And hopefully there's a market for that, because they're just amazing little sponges that can do this work without all of the hang-ups that adults have.
So maybe you can give us your contact information again, or maybe where you're located, if people can come to an office, or your web address again.
Yeah, we do everything by appointment.
Okay.
So you can call Jane at 226-344-9064, or you can go to the website, which has all our contact information and everything, which is www.energyhealingforallages.com, or you can email me, either Jane or Jill. So it's Jane at energyhealingforallages.com. And we do have, for your university listeners, a student rate.
Oh.
So anyone in school gets a student rate, and there's also a senior rate.
Well, great. I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. Jane and Jill from Twin Connection Energy Healing. Great to have you on.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Well, if you're interested in energy healing, check out energyhealingforallages.com. No matter what age you are, it could be for you. Next week's show, all about Windsor's artist-run center art site. See you then, and thanks for listening.